All right. Well, welcome everyone to Facilitating Engaging Independent Work. This is the series 3. So we've done a little bit of everything. We started with a little bit of gaming. Then we showed you how to get some kids logged in last time. And now we're going to keep working on that particular feat. And we're going to talk about how we can use it with independent work. All right. So let's begin. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is open a new tab. And in that new tab, go to hellosmart.com. You can sign in as a guest. Remember, kids always need to log in. And then my code is 953982. Again, my code is 953982. Now, I'm going to ask you to toggle back and forth between two screens so that you'll be able to see the teacher side sometimes, and you'll be able to see the student side, so you get the feel of both things. And I see right now I have Felicia's in. And David's coming in, but David, I also have Eileen in here. Is there another room one of you is supposed to be in?
Well, yeah, that's why I'm here, Terry, because we're supposed to be with Dr. Candy in our room, and there's nobody there other than 3 teachers waiting for her.
Oh.
So I've sent out some emails and trying to find our facilitator. So
if she is not there, if in another minute or two, David, if you just want to send them to Shanti's room.
You got it?
It's the same session, right?
It is. Let me see.
I want to make sure of that. Yeah, it
is.
203.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, will do.
And just tell Shanti when you get there that Camilla didn't show up, so I want to make sure.
You got it.
Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Yep. All right, now I forgot where I was. Oh, I see Eileen's in, Felicia's in, Miss Miller's in. Who else is still having trouble getting in to hellosmart.com? Kate, I see you have your hand raised. You want to come off mute and tell me what you need?
Oh, sorry, that was a mistake.
That's okay.
All right. There we go. I'm getting on the site now.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Then once we get everybody in, most of the time when I am doing this with kids, I do not share my screen. Because what you see on the student side is what I'm going to be showing you anyway. So there's no reason to share my screen. So if you're looking at the student side right now, the Hello Smart side, if I circle something, you're going to see right now that I circled the number 953982, just how to get in. So they don't really need to, I don't really need to share my screen because they're seeing it. One other thing I just want to reiterate why we're here is that we always ask kids to sign in because their work follows them. But you guys, I'm not going to be grading your assignment. You're not going to be going back to correct it. So it doesn't really matter. That's why we have you sign in as a guest, and that way your accounts get less confused. But remember, the kids always sign in. They would have clicked the big blue button, say sign in. Their SDP account would come up. They'd click on it, and boom, they're in. So that way their work follows them. All right, if you will come back and look at my screen for a minute, I just want to remind you of what the teacher side looks like. So when you go to hellosmart.com, you are live, okay? That means it's almost like a synchronous lesson. So everybody logs in, you're the pacing person in this element. On this left-hand side of mine, this is the teacher view, okay? I have a couple things you don't. For one, I have the people's heads. Okay, when I click on them, that's how I can tell who has signed in. Okay, I can also boot somebody if I need to. So somebody from my last class forgot to leave. I can always hit this edit in the bottom left, click edit, check Terry, and remove her if I need to. And then that's how you can get rid of anybody from your live lesson. Now, just because their name is there doesn't mean they're truly with you. It just meant they never left your class. So they're still logged into your class. They may not be with you though. So it just depends on where it is. All right, a couple other things on this same login that I want to go with. So we have teacher pacing right now, which means if I move the page, it automatically moves for you. But I can also move it into student pacing, which means then all of you would get the arrows on the bottom left-hand side and be able to page through for whatever a page you're looking for, especially if I'm letting you go on your own and telling you I need you to finish pages 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to put it to student pacing, and then you'll be able to hop to page 3, 4, 5. Finally, last thing I want to show you on this icon right here is I have this blowout right here that tells me where to go and what my number is. So that's where your number is going to be located. It's located in a couple of places, but that's the easiest one to find when you're live in a lesson. The other thing I want to show you on the teacher side while we're here is I have not all the tools, but I have some of the tools. So I can grab that pen and I can write on my page. Okay, that's how I was circling stuff. And I'm not sitting at a board right now. I'm just using my mouse just like you would. I could erase something if I needed to, or this one down here clears the page. And that's going to be kind of important today that you understand that at any point in time, if I write on a page, I can reset it before I push it out to you as a classroom teacher or as a classroom student, so that I can give you some helpful hints and then let you go on a clear page. A couple other things that I have right now that you don't have is one, I have the ability to add pages on the fly. So if I have kids asking a question, I can very easily put a whiteboard in here and be able to write on it or add different things. And we can talk about it on the fly. So I can add a whiteboard. And if you're looking at your student side, you'd be able to see that whiteboard too, because that's exactly what it is. I can add it on the fly. I can also add on the fly a shout it out if I need it. So those are all things I can do on the fly. And then I can go from page to page right here that you can't go right now. The other thing I want to point out is the number. If I click on the number, my slides come out so I can hop to different things if I need to and be able to see what's coming next. All right, so let's head on to slide 4. And if you'll go back to your student side for a minute, you'll get the view of what the students see. And first of all, my name is Terry Politi. I actually work for Smart Technologies, but I am embedded with Philadelphia Public Schools. So I am actually the ed tech coach for 8 of our high schools. This is actually my 33rd year in education. Didn't update that slide. I have most of my time was high school mathematics, but then I joined the math office, and after that I joined the technology office and was an instructional coach. So that's a little bit about my background. And then in the chat with us today, Eileen, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Eileen Fernandez Parker. I'm originally from Philadelphia, so I'm so happy to be working with you guys. Right now, I'm tapping in through Charleston, South Carolina, and I'm with a company called Advanced Learning Partnerships, who works with Dell to bring some of this training to you. So my support is through them, but of course, Terry is through Smart. So I will be in the chat. You might see Cultivating the Learning as the name because that's my company. And you might see an apple. So that's how you know that it's me. And I'll be just kind of trying to keep up with Terry's directions. So if you miss something, check the chat for, information, and then you can ask questions in the chat and I can answer them. But also, since it's a small group, Terry might just say, how she wants you to do it.
Yep. Start with the chat, but otherwise, at some point in time, she's right. We're small. We'll be able to just have a nice little chat. All right. So let's begin. So if you are on your student side, what I really want you to understand today is just our agenda. You as a student can't do anything to this slide, but I can highlight stuff or I can show you things that have meaning to me. So I want to talk about our purpose today. We should have made that a little thicker. Our purpose today is really about learning a little bit more about Smart Learning Suite. So there's a lot of tools inside of here. So we're trying to give you a little bit each time. And then remember, you also have that instructional coach that can work with you also to kind of give you some other hands-on stuff. Because if you're teaching physics, you may want a different tool than some of the tools that we've highlighted. So it just depends on what you're teaching. So the purpose is to get you more tools in your tool belt. Process, we're going to let you experience it as a student and then also build it as a teacher. So you walk away with things. And finally is our payoff is that walking away with items so that you can walk away with some things that you'll be able to use in your classroom, hopefully next week. All right. So obviously, you all may not be math teachers, but we're actually going to build this one right now so that you get the idea of what it is. So this is just a blank page that I made as a splash page. So imagine every day you need to show your kids your outcomes and standards. This would be that page. It's just a blank page that the teachers or the kids can't do anything for, but it announces what my class is about today. It's about rates and ratios, guys. Today you'll be able to convert them, okay? Blank page, we'll add it a little bit later. The next thing I'm going to do is go to the next page. You'll see student start. And if you will hit the start button, I'll be able to tell you started this handout because I see Rose's name just turned up. Katie's name just turned up. So if you're on your student side and you hit start, you will be able to see the handout. Now, I'm not going to ask you to do math, so don't freak out if you're not a math teacher. All I want you to take away from this as we're working on this is that we're looking at a PDF. So this was a PDF that I imported in. So think about any PDFs that you currently have or use or would like to use. How can I bring them into SLSO? And then what can the kids do with them? Okay, so the first thing I want you to do with them is I want you to be able to grab the pen on the left-hand side. So if you will all grab the pen on the left-hand side and try to write your name in any color other than black. Try to write your name on the name line and just write your first name. You don't have to write the other. And I see Felicia starting her name. Kate, I don't see anything there yet. You're okay with the pen? Miss Miller, I think that's Angela's signature there.
Wait, can you see what I wrote or no?
Rose? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Was that you, Angela?
That's me.
That's
My
okay.
cursive skills.
Those are all good. And I see Katie. So me on the teacher side can see everybody's paper. So if you want to stop what you're doing right now, we'll come back to it. Come back over to the meet side so you can see what the meet side looks like or the teacher side looks like. So when you hit start, everybody gets their name up here. So this is for me to be able to go back and check their papers. So if I come in here and click on Eileen, I'll see she put her name up here. Okay. And I can arrow over to the next person if I want to and be able to keep seeing what everybody wrote. Okay. So whatever they put on here, you can see. Plus, I also have the teacher handout here. So if I need to demonstrate something, I'm not actually writing on somebody's paper. Okay. So whatever I put on here, nobody else can see because that's the teacher copy unless I show it to them. However, if I go into Eileen's right here and I give her a big green check, she'll be able, oh, didn't pick green. Only helps if I make it a big green check. She'll be able to see it almost immediately. So I can write on the paper. I can see everybody's paper, but you can't see each other. So it's almost like a worksheet that we would have handed out in the classroom where the kid can write on it. We might come by when we could have and gotten close and been able to help them out a little bit and been able to write on, but it's really just a two-way street between the teacher and the student. So this is a handout. Okay, I do want you, while you're looking at this screen though, is Eileen's has a green check on it, okay? Because if you go back and look at your student side, on the right-hand corner is the word done. So if you check done, the green check will come up on my side, indicating that it's ready to be graded, okay? However, you saw with Eileen's or anybody's, I could have still gone in and graded it and written on it if I wanted to, even without the green check. So I don't wait for the green checks. I just know that that is a way to indicate that they're done. But you'll notice once you put the green check on your paper, or once you hit the done, now that where the done is, it now says edit. So if I want to go back in, which I'm going to ask you to go back in, I want you all to hit the edit button. So your green checks will go away on my side, but you'll get the tools back on your side. Because I'm going to ask you to do a couple of more tools while we're in here, just so that you get some ideas. So make sure you hit edit in the top right-hand corner. Make sure you're on the student side. I very rarely ask kids to use the pen unless I'm asking for a quick matching activity. As you saw, it was hard to write, okay, especially if you have a trackpad. But I just wanted you to get the experience. But the tool I think some people will use, especially if you're English, social studies, or science, and you're doing some reading stuff, is the highlighter. So if you will all click the pen right now, okay, the very top, there's a pop out when you click on the pen. The very top shows you the color and the thickness you have. The next line shows you the thickness you can pick. The next line is the 2 types of pens. The one on the left is a pen. If you'll click on the one on the right, it's a highlighter, and you know you clicked on the right thing if it changes to highlighter colors below it. It's no longer those thick colors. It is now a highlighter. So make it a thick highlighter. Pick a color. And I want you to, in problem 13, highlight 2 words. Maybe 2 words you don't know, 2 words you think you might want to stress, any 2 words, just so I can see that you have the highlighter pen. Great, Kate. Great, Miss Miller. Good job, Rose. Eileen's on it. And there's Felicia. So there's the highlighter tool. So depending on what you might want to upload, I uploaded a worksheet. But you could easily upload a poem, part of a history story, some type of prompt from the Keystones exam, anything you wanted, and ask them to highlight. And we'll show you what some of the other tools can do, just to give you an idea of what you have. Okay, so now you've seen the highlighter tool. The right underneath the highlighter, or the pen tool and highlighter tool, is the eraser tool, so you can erase from there. But I want you to go to the very bottom where you see an A. That is your text tool. So if you click once on the A, it turns blue, and then click somewhere out on the mat or out on the sheet, and then type something in the box, doesn't matter, and then move it around so that we can see it. And again, if you're having trouble, let us know. Now, once you've done typing, you need to click outside of the box for it to actually take and actually appear on my side. So you click once on the A. Oh, look, Miss Miller's putting in the answers. I love it. And Rose took me quite literally with something. And that's okay, Felicia. The math's not important, but it's all good. You get the idea. So a text tool can be used. You see, if you click once on your text box, in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a circle. You can also make it bigger or smaller if you want to. If you double click in the text box, that's where you'll be able to change the color, change the font, left justify, right justify, those types of things. So remember, these are all tools the kids have. So they can type on any document if they want to. Okay? All right. The last tool I want to look at is on the left side. It's the one that looks like a mountain with a plus sign. Okay? If you will click on the mountain with the plus sign, you will see that you have 3 things you can do. You can upload something from your computer. You can add a web URL, so if you needed to go out to the internet for something, or you can do a Bing Safe Search. So what I want you to do is I want you in that Bing Safe Search is to search for some word from your content area. Mine happens to be math, so I'm going to search for ratio. And put in a picture that you find in there and resize it so that it actually fits on the worksheet. Great, Felicia. I like the tree, Kate. Oh, Miss Miller put in a real ratio. You have to be a math teacher.
I am. You're lucky I didn't put the law of signs in there. That would have given it away.
I might have to play some trig games with you later on. All right. And then, I see we have a Simpsons fan in Rose. So you saw how easy it is to add a picture. Okay. So really what I wanted to take you through this as is I can take any PDF, upload it into SLSO, make it an individual handout for the kids, and each kid has to work on it. And it doesn't have to be like a worksheet the way it is. It could be like a Frayer model or some other graphic organizer that you want to use, and then the kids can fill it in. But anything that you have can be uploaded in here then for the kids to be able to write on. All right, I am going to move to the next page. It's another handout. This was a 2-page worksheet. You don't have to hit start if you don't want to. But whatever's in the PDF, 2 pages, 10 pages, whatever, they can all upload in and you can make them an individual thing. Okay? All right. So in the chat, I'd like you to come back over to Google Meet, leave that other window open. Tell me what type of PDFs you're thinking about maybe you want to use and how you can use it with that handout feature. So come on back over to the Google Meet side. And in the chat, what type of PDF you're thinking about maybe you want to use and how you can use it as a handout feature, meaning everybody gets their own copy. Yep, Felicia, I love that. You could put up any piece of literature and they can annotate right on top of it. And you put individually or as a whole group, you can even do small groups. So by using a workspace, I could do whole group or small groups if I wanted to. Eileen, did you have something?
No, I was just, I just commented out loud about how nice that is that you can do small groups.
And I will tell you right now that 104 is all about collaboration, small groups and whole group collaboration. So you'll see a lot more of that in 104,
Cool.
which starts sometime in April, but it'll kind of give you an idea of where we're going. Annotate or graphic organizer, both of those work, Kate. They all work. Art critiques, awesome. Yeah, definitely you can do all of that stuff. So it kind of gives you an idea. So when we build during this session, you can either go find something you want to use, or I'll give you the math worksheet again if you want it, but probably only Angela will want that one. And even that, it might be a little bit low for her if she wants to do logarithmic stuff. So just keep that in the back of your head that you can find whatever PDFs you currently are using, and we'll be able to put one of those in. All right, go back over to the student side. So go to hellosmart.com where you are. You'll see start. I'd like you to actually play the game. You have to drag to the flowers here. So drag one thing to the yellow flower, one thing to the pink flower. I can check my matches as I go, or I'm going to check them all at the end. And I'm not getting any right, so don't worry about you getting them. I'm just dragging some to flowers so you get the idea of what you can do. And then when you're all done, if you'd like to check the matches, you can. And randomly, I got one right. Not very good at guessing. So in 101, we did super sort as one of the games so that you could see it. In 102, we did rank order. So it gave you the idea of things you can order, either mathematically, numerically, or you could order like sequencing in a story or sequencing in history, anything along those lines. This one is match them up. So you matching game. So match them up is anything you want to match. And then you can add pictures or you can add just text. So it depends on with what you want as to how this game works. All we want to do is give you some opportunities just to see the games, but let me remind you of the games. The games are for individual practice, meaning the teacher doesn't see a score. The kids can practice as much as they want, but it's great for independent or asynchronous time because they can keep practicing and they'll know if they get it right or not. So it kind of gives you some ideas. The flower one, I will tell you, I have people that have a hard time sometimes knowing where to match the two things up. But the flower is one of the themes, but there's lots of other themes. And then you can also edit the themes to be different things if you want them to be. So we'll go through that as we build. And I won't make you build a match 'em up when we do it today, but if you want to do the match 'em up so that you see how it works, well, that'll be one that we can concentrate on today. All right. I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to go to the last one. So this would kind of be my wrap up of my lesson. So there are some pre-made, ready-made stuff. So we definitely looked at the graphic organizers in 101, and we did the Venn diagram with you all. And then we've looked at a couple others, but there's also some ready-made wrap-ups. So if you're on the student side right now, you'll notice you can't do anything, okay? But right now on the fly, I am going to change it so that it is an individual handout. And you'll all see on the student side now, you'll be able to hit start. There we go. I see everybody starting to start. Okay. So if I were truly asking you for this as a wrap up, pretend your friend was absent today, how would you explain what you learned? So which tool, first of all, do you think is the easiest, especially for the grades that we teach, is the easiest for them to do this? Text tool. Yep. And I point that out, Angela, because a lot of people will start trying to write with the pen. Remember, I told you the pen's a cool tool, but I really use it just for circling stuff, highlighting, kind of bringing out. They just need to know to go to the text tool. If they start typing on here, then I'll see it as a wrap up at the end. Okay, you don't have to do it. I just wanted you to give you an idea of some of the stuff. And we're going to look at the ready-made reflective activities to add to your whatever you're creating. Okay, so it's that wrap up closure piece that's kind of nice that there's a lot of stuff that's already there. It kind of gives you some accountability of where people are. All right, so before we leave as students, if you have a PDF, you know where it is you want to use, you don't need to do this step. If you don't have a PDF that you just want to practice with whatever, then on your student side right now is a tiny URL that I'd like you to click on and download that so that we can use it today as our starting place of where we're going to be. Okay, so if you have a PDF, you know where it is, then you're good to go. If you don't have one, if you'll click on that and download it, then you'll have a PDF for when we're going to start the next phase. Okay. Now, in the top left-hand corner, because you're on the student side still, should be 3 little lines, and I'm going to ask you to leave the class. So in the top left-hand corner, 3 little lines, going to ask you to leave the class. And I'll be able to tell you're leaving the class because your names will disappear off of my list. And then once you've left the class, if you'll come back over to the Google Meet side, I'll be able to show you the other side. Miss Miller, are you having trouble leaving the class?
No, I thought I left it. Hold on. I think
Yeah, Terry, I left too, but I'm not coming off on your screen.
I think I might have 2 of them. I don't know. No, I did leave.
Hold on. Didn't make you leave yet, but I'll kick y'all out. That's okay, because I kicked myself out.
Thank you.
Just will help you on the other side. Hopefully it'll be easier to go in as a teacher. All right. What we're going to do right now is I'm going to do a real quick build. I'm going to show you how I build, and then I'm going to go step by step with you. So remember, this is just a you watch, and then we're going to build next. Okay? So it always starts from Google Drive. Always starts from Google Drive. You all have a folder called SLSO examples that you may put it in. Or if you know you're building it for something else, you can put it wherever you want to. But I'm going to put it in here. So you go into the folder you want. You go into New, More, Smart Learning Suite. And it's going to place it in that folder. So that's where this file is going to reside. So I know how to find it. So for me, usually, guys, I think about my information in units. So like I'm in Algebra 1. This is Unit 4. So I want to have an Algebra 1 folder inside of there. There's a Unit 4 folder. And that's where I'm going to put it. So next year when I'm teaching Unit 4, I know where all the stuff is from Unit 4 so I can find it. All right. Once I'm inside of here, a couple things to take note of. One is the add activities. That's that big green button. And this is the Smart Learning Suite dashboard, but we're going to add an activity. Now, when I add the first activity, this is the only time you're going to see this import button right now. So right now, the way Smart has it set up, you can only import stuff once into an SLSO file. So once I've started, I can't come back to this, so you need to do it first. So we're going to put in that PDF first and then build around it. So I'm going to import that resource. I happen to know mine is sitting on my desktop. If you have a PDF in your Google Drive, you can find it from there if you're using one you made. I'm just going to upload that March file, which is the rates and ratios ones, to show you how easy it is to bring something in. All right, here comes my PDFs. There's page 1, there's page 2. And I'll just give you an idea. When I bring a PDF in, it is locked, okay? But let's say I really don't need to see name or class because that's going to show up anyway. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock this. Yes, I want to unlock it. I'm going to move it up because I don't need them in here to put a name. And I'm going to actually move it really far, and I'm going to make it much bigger. And let's see if this will fit in. There we go. That's going to be my worksheet. So it's a little bit bigger for them. The only thing you have to remember to do is if you're changing up whatever you're bringing in, make sure you lock it again, because if you don't lock it, then you'll have problems because the kids will move it. And so if they're writing or doing something else, then it doesn't line up. So just make sure you lock that background. From here, I can add whatever I want. Like if I need to add directions, I can add directions here. Probably would have left space if I was going to do that. Okay. But I can add directions. However, this is about independent learning and doing some asynchronous stuff. So probably the easiest way to leave directions, guys, is this audio button down here. So at any time, I can leave up to 5 minutes of audio directions on a page. So let me just click on here. I hit start recording. Welcome, guys. I really would like you to just do the odd problems on here. So make sure you have shown any work that you need, or you ask a question so I know where to help you. And I can either continue after that, I can hit delete and start, or I can hit add. Or someone else was talking about literature that they could critique. You could also have read the whole thing. You have up to 5 minutes on every page to add audio to. So that would give you a page of writing would give you about 5 minutes. So you'd make it in there fine. But that will then follow the page. Now, if ahead of time I want to use this, right now I'm going to go back and hit convert and make it a handout so every kid gets their own. So there are no, so right now that is just plain audio. It's just like an MP3. So it is not going, it's a good question. Sorry, Angela, I should have reread it for everybody else if they weren't listening. She was asking about translation. So right now that is just an MP3 file. So it is not translated. However, if they use Google Translate and played that, it could be put in any language they wanted to. So it is an option. It's just one of those tech things that they would have to learn because it's an extra 2 or 3 steps to translate what you said into print into the language they can read. You could record it in a different language if you could speak another language. That's not something I'm going to do because I will just slaughter some other language. But you could record it in their native language if you needed to. Otherwise, I would do it live in a Google Meet and have the closed captioning. And I don't know if you're aware, but if you have closed captioning on, the person on the other end can change it to whatever language they want the closed captioning on, and they'll be able to see it then in their own language. Okay? All right. So on the fly, I clicked on the page, converted it to a handout. I'm good to go. I can even change this right here to be whatever topic I need it to be. So for myself, when I click on it, I remember what it is. So you have some options there. All right. And then I told you we were going to build a blank page. That's kind of our objectives page. And you notice now I no longer have that import button like I told you. But I'm going to add a blank page. I'm going to change this to ratios. I am going to, today we will learn about you get the idea. I'm just building up my title page. All right, and I might add a picture just to give them something to look at when I'm on here. So let's find this one will work. Great, gave them a little picture that they can see. So there is my page to talk about when I am introducing this topic. Remember, anything you bring in, you can resize. Bottom right-hand corner, if I want to spin it, I can always spin it up here. I can also do that with text. Click once, make it bigger, smaller. If I double click inside, that's when I get the ability to change stuff to different colors, different very specific sizes instead of just making it bigger the way I usually do it, which is drag it. So it gives you some ideas. Now I need that page to be first. So just like with Google Slides or PowerPoint, I can reorder them. So I'm going to reorder them. All right, now I'm coming down here. I'm going to add my game. So remember, game-based activities are here. This time we did the match them up. So I have very distinctly, I need to put, and I'm going to do words, numbers, because I can usually do this and talk at the same time. So this is 1, and I'm going to match it up with 1. You get the idea. 2, and I'm going to match it up. Now, you can also import pictures or use pictures that you find on the web. So if I click on here, I can upload something, or I can do a Bing Safe search for whatever I'm looking for, so I can get an image also to be able to sort. Let me do one more just to give you an idea of what you can find. There's my 3. All right. Now, the one that we played was when prompted. That puts the check when you're ready. Instantly would mean if I drug it to the flowers and it wasn't right, it would automatically kick it out. So it depends on what kind of student you're teaching as to which one of them, how you want it to check. Okay, for me, usually with my high school kids, I did it when prompted because I want them to check at the end. All right, I'm going to hit next. These are the backgrounds you have to pick from. We looked at the flower one already. I'm going for the rock band because I happen to know my high school kids like the rock band. So I do that. Let's take a preview of what it looks like. All right, I'm going to get one right. There's my 1, and there's my 1. Okay, check match. Play music. I'm going to get one wrong. Going to check match. And you see it fries them. Okay, I'm going to get the other one wrong just to show you how they can fix it at the end. So if I check them and I see these 2 are wrong, I can always pull this over here and then recheck them and be able to see. Okay, so that's the match them up. You will also notice, I'm going to reset it right now, that the ones I put in as images come up, you can make them bigger. And that's really good for the Chromebooks that are small. So sometimes I will take a picture of text, because somebody was definitely language arts in here. I'll take a picture of text because then the kids will be able to click on it, see the whole sentence or whatever, the paragraph, and then be able to match it with something else. So you'll notice with the words, there is no way to blow them up, only with the images that I enter. So you'll notice 1 I can't make any bigger, but these 2 I put in as images so I can make them bigger. So just take note that if you type too many words in, they get really small. So if I know I'm going to use words, sometimes I'll just type them in anything. It could have been in slides, could have been in docs. Take a picture, screenshot, and then throw it in later. Does that make sense, or does anybody have a question on that? Okay, I think we're good there. The last thing I want to show you, and then we're going to build, is those ready-made activities for my class closure. So I'm going to click on the plus sign again. This time I'm going to hit on question and reflection. Okay, come in here. We haven't gone over anything in blue or yellow. Those are shouted out and response. At some point in time, you'll get to see those. But the purple ones down here are all handouts, and they're all that ready-made stuff. So like, here's the one I did today, explained somebody was absent. Let me just use the exit ticket this time. And up comes up an exit ticket, and I want to edit it. Explain what you learned about the topic today. Today's topic was ratios. Just give them a little helping hand there. Make it a little bigger so they can't miss it. Okay, It's ready to go. If I don't want the kids to move it, remember I need to lock it. Okay. Or sometimes, guys, I will leave that there as the sentence starter and then not lock it, because then a kid will just be able to click on it and be able to start typing. Okay. So this one I'm not going to lock. I'm now going to convert this activity to a handout. And now my lesson is good to go. I can use this synchronously through Hello Smart, like we just learned about when we logged in, or I'm going to hit finish editing. It's sitting right here, but I'm going to go back to my Google Drive where it actually is. Okay. Oh, I forgot to rename it. I need to do that, but I'll double click on it, open it up, because that's where I'll go back to find it. And I'm going to rename it first so that it doesn't drive me crazy. So this is in run mode because it's all black. When I'm in edit mode, it's the blue and white. And I'm going to change this to my ratio lesson. Okay, now I've named it. I have my handouts. I have my game. I'm good to go. All right, I'm going to hit finish editing. Now, if I want to share it with my kids to be completely asynchronous, all I do is grab the 3 lines up here, go to the share link, and copy the student one and paste it in Google Classroom or in the chat of my Google Meet, and the kids will be able to open it and go through it asynchronously. So this link is asynchronous. Hello Smart is synchronous. And I am going to show you what that audio looks like right here. A kid, when he sees this, let's take a look at my teacher one. This is what the kids will say, and they'll be able to hear the audio. Welcome, guys. I really would like you to just do the... So you get the idea. This really could just be completely asynchronous kind of work. I just need to make sure you understand the difference of the 3 lines is where that share is going to give me asynchronous. The kids automatically get the errors. Okay. They can go from page to page. If I go to the heads, Hello Smart is the synchronous one. That's where I'm pacing them and I'm taking them from page to page at whatever pace I want them to be in. Okay. So you have 2 options there. The third thing I want to show you up there before we start to build is in this, because you're all secondary teachers. So you probably teach 3 or 4 of the same course. So if I've made my perfect master, I'm going to now make a copy. It's going to copy it for me. And then I call this ratios copy period 1. And then I make another one, ratios copy period 2. Because what happens is I want just one kid's work or one class's work in one place. So let me put this as period 1. And then I'd make another one for period 2. But what I want you to understand on this one is if I don't have one for each one, let me go back to what we were doing today. I just want period 1 kids' work to show up for each handout. So the handouts we had in here, we're up here, right here. So if I did not make one for every period, it's possible for me to see 100 kids' names here if you teach 100 kids. Whereas if I do it by period, that's the link I share with them, or that's the link I open, and then I only see that class's papers in that particular copy. Question on that, or is that kind of clear? All right, I'm going to take it that we're pretty good. Now we're going to do some building, guys. All right, so I need you each to open up a new tab and go to your Google Drive.
Terry, can I ask you a quick question?
You can.
Say you're making multiple copies, but you need to like add in additional slides to differentiate for one of your classes. So how would you do that? Do you need to put it in the master, or can you edit a copy and add in other stuff?
So I can edit a copy and add in other stuff, or I could put it in the master, and then in the classes I didn't need it, I can delete a page real easily.
Oh.
So when I'm in here, if I don't need this page, let me just click on this one. Right next to where I do the audio, there's a trash can. Can delete it, the page is gone now. Where I have a slight time frame where I can bring back the undo redo. So Felicia, it kind of depends on how you plan. I think for myself, if I knew I had a couple of kids that I needed to add a graphic organizer because it's called for in their IEP, then I'm going to put it in the master and then delete it out of the ones that don't need it.
Okay, thanks.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and for me, at the end of the year, the files that say master are the ones I keep. Anyone that says period 1, period 2, I know as kids working, I'm just deleting those. So next year, if I need that file again, if it's in the master, then I know it's there. But that's just the way I think. So you can do it either way, though, Felicia. Great question. All right.
Thanks.
All right. So everybody's in their Google Drive. You need to get to a folder where you want this to reside. So if you want to put it in SLSO examples, you are more than welcome to, or you can put it any other place you want to. Okay. So is everybody double clicked and in a folder? All right. So now when you're in that folder, you're going to go new, more, Smart Learning Suite. And then something will come up about the folder, whether it's shared or not, but just hit create. If you are currently not in as a teacher, it'll ask you if you're a teacher and then just sign in with your Phila SD. But otherwise, it'll go right to the Smart Learning Suite dashboard. And when everybody gets the Smart Learning Suite dashboard, if you can give me a thumbs up or just a yes in the chat so I know everybody's in that Smart Learning Suite dashboard.
Wait, Terry, so I go inside the folder and then I go to new and then I
scroll down to more.
Okay, got it.
And then you should see Smart Learning Suites on the pop out and should be down towards the bottom.
Got it, thanks.
Yep. Great, thank you, Rosemary. Or Rosemary, sorry. Angela, are we okay?
No, I do have something in here that I think I created, but I can't. I'm so bad with folders.
So what folder are you in?
I think the one I just created today.
Okay. Is that the one you wanted in, or do you want to go find another folder?
Why not? Yes, because I still have to go over it. So when I open it, it's like the PDF form.
Yep, we haven't done anything else yet with it.
So I just leave it like that?
Just leave it like that. And we're going to go to the, do you see the new button in the top left-hand corner?
Hold on. No, it just says the arrow.
Did you download the PDF already?
Yeah, I probably did.
Okay, so there should be a back arrow in the top left-hand corner.
In the left-hand corner? Yeah, there's a back arrow.
Okay, hit back arrow.
Yes.
And now you're in your drive?
Yes.
Okay. Now you should see the new button in the top left-hand corner.
Just says quick access my drive. Hold on, I got to open it more. It's like, that's another bad one too. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Yep. And then just go new, more, Smart Learning Suite, and it'll open up to the dashboard. And just so I give her a minute to get where we are. Guys, if you've never been here before, in the top right-hand corner, there's a button that says Edit Class. If you click on Edit Class, the very last thing is Manage Guest Access. If I were you all in classroom teachers, I would make sure that that guest access is turned off. That forces the kids to be able to log in. Great, Angela, thank you for letting me know. So you don't even have to say to the kids, join as a guest or sign in. They have to sign in if you toggle this off. Okay, just because I do training and teachers don't want to log in and out of their 2 accounts, then I'll just leave it on for mine, but for yours, I'd turn it off. All right, I'm going to hit done. All right, everybody at this point in time is in, so you should see the big green button that says Add Activity. So we're going to click on Add Activity. And you get your choices. Now, remember, this is the only time you're going to see Import Resources. So in the top left-hand corner, you see a button that says Import Resources. When you click on that, it's going to say import it from your Google Drive or import it from your device. If you downloaded the file that I gave you, you're going to go from your device. If you know where your stuff is, Okay? You're going to go from your phone. Okay? Excuse me, not phone. You're going to go from your device or you're going to go from your drive. So I am going to click on your device because I know mine is sitting on my desktop. If you clicked on mine, it is either on your desktop or in your downloads folder. Okay, it's called march.pd. So if you need to do a search for it, you can. But once you find it, you're just going to click on it and click open. Same way, those of you that are using one from your Google Drive, you're just going to navigate in your Google Drive to where it is and then import it in. And then you'll have that PDF already in there. I'll wait another minute to make sure everybody gets their PDF in. If you're having problems, please either let us know in the chat or unmute yourself so that we know how to help you. Okay, so everybody has their PDF in there. I just want you to click on the big part of the PDF, the right side, and make sure you all see a lock on that side. You do not have to unlock it, but I just want you to be aware that you can unlock it if you need to move stuff around. Like, for instance, if you brought in a Venn diagram, you might want to move it to a certain part of the page or make it smaller or bigger so that you could add pictures or items that they could sort inside of there, just to give you an idea. But remember, you can just unlock it, move it around to wherever you want it, make it bigger or smaller, and then just make sure you relock it when you're all done so that it doesn't move. And that really just depends on how it looks when it comes in. Now, just for practice, I would like you to be able to add audio, whether you're reading directions, whether you're reading a word problem. It can be nonsense for now, but I just want you to get that feeling for audio directions. So in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see a trash can and a person that looks like speech is coming out of his mouth. Okay. I'm going to ask you to click on that person. That is the audio. And just record something. It can be silly. So right now, oops, I'm going to just start recording. Car 1 drove 408 miles in 6 hours, blah, 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 blah. And then I just want to add it just so that I can see how to add audio. All right. Does anybody have any questions on audio? That's pretty easy. All right. Now, if I'm ready, and I know this is going to be a handout for the kids, in the bottom of the page, you will see convert to activity. So if you'll click on that button, when you roll over it, it turns blue. When you click on convert to activity, you'll see you get the choice to make it a handout. Remember, a handout is one copy for each kid. So I'm going to click make a handout. And you can rename it at the top if you want to, where it says handout. You can add more. So that it's, and for me, when I'm teaching, I change the name because then it hits me in the face so that I can see it. All right, if you have more than a one-page handout or a one-page PDF, you can also go to page 2 and convert it to a handout. And so that's done. So now we've converted our PDFs into a handout. You can upload Google Slides, PowerPoints, notebook files, PDFs, Google Docs. Pretty much most of what you can put in Google Drive, you can upload in here and then convert it into handouts and PDFs. Okay. All right. The next page we're going to add is what I call that objectives page, that opener kind of slide that has your standards and objectives for the day. So we're going to, on the bottom left-hand corner, click on that plus sign. Okay. And this time on the top row, I'm going to hit the one that says new page. That's kind of like a blank page for you to start with. So I'm just going to hit new page. And you can either use the text boxes that are there that say enter title here, enter description here, or you can enter new ones. I'm just going to use the one that's there. And in the one that says enter title here, I'm just calling mine ratios because that's what this is all about. And then where it says description, I'm going to put my students will be able to. I like stuff left justified other than my title, so I'm going to left justify it, and I'm just going to move it around. And the last thing I want you to be able to do is I want you to be able to add a picture just because it'll help the kids focus as you're going through the objective and the standard. So on the top now is my tools. This is where the tools are if I am in edit mode. There's the one that looks like a mountain with a plus sign. If you'll click on that, I'm going to do the Bing Safe Search just for something. Add in there that looks like a good picture. I'm going to do this one this time. Now, I have not locked anything. Okay. If I am not going to change it to a handout or a workspace, I don't have to lock it because the kids can't move it unless I make it as a handout or workspace. However, sometimes I myself am talking and my hands are moving and things start moving. So if I know I never want it to move and I maybe am going to write on it, I do lock stuff just so that it doesn't move when I'm teaching because I've done that before. Okay, so that's just lesson learned, just so you know. It's kind of like when I first started teaching and you get a little too close to the chalkboard and you'd end up with chalk all over the back of your pants. Same thing here, but I end up moving stuff instead of getting chalk on me. So, and then I need to move the slide. Okay, I'm going to stop talking for a minute. I realized I did that really fast. I am going to give you about a minute to finish up your slide. And when you're finished up your slide, can you either click or type in yes in the chat or just come off mute and tell me you're done so that I know we can move on. All right, I see everybody's done now. Great. Okay. Now for my end, they're out of order now because I need that the objective standards page to be first. So I'm just going to drag mine to the first slide position and everything else will move. I do not need to convert it to a handout because I don't want the kids writing on it. It's really just about me doing what I do when I start class. So it's good to go the way it is. And then I need to add my game. So if you're all ready to add your game, in the bottom left-hand corner, there is that plus sign. I am going to hit the plus sign, and I am going to hit game-based activity. Now, remember I said we already did super sort week 1. Rank order was class 2. I'm going to do match them up this time. But if you would rather look at one of the other ones, I'm good with them. They're all kind of similar. Game show, speed 'em up, and team quiz are more competitive gaming things like games against other people. The super sort, the rank order, memory match, match 'em up, fill in the blank are more of that individual student practice. But I'm going to do match 'em up this time. And remember, you can roll over any one and see the preview. Oh, yeah, that's the one I want. So I hit select or just double click and it'll go in. In this one, you need category names. So in the example, I'm just going to do numbers and capitals and lowercase for right now. I realize this is, I can't even spell capitals today. Caps, lower, because I can type and do these. But you can do whatever ones you want inside here. So remember, you need whatever you have something on the left column, you also need some on the right column, or else the gray next button won't appear. So I'm just going to give you about 2 or 3 minutes to fill that in.
Terry, can I ask a quick question?
You can.
If I already have this somewhere in a doc, is it pastable, copy and pastable, so that I don't have to
Yep.
retype it?
Yep.
Nice.
Good question. Yeah, a lot of times to the right, I'll have my Google Doc or my Word doc open, and I can just copy and paste the pieces that I need. And then like Angela's math. So like Angela, a lot of times I will take pictures to show them what it is, like of an equation or something. And then I would upload them with the equation or with the picture one and just upload an image. I don't know if I have any. Let's see what kind of screenshots I have sitting on my desk. Oh, that's a Fryer model. That really doesn't go with what we were just talking about with equations. But you can upload whatever screenshots you take. Okay. Good afternoon, Lance. Are you part of the next session at 1:40? No problem. We just wanted to make sure where you were. All right. Once you get some in, remember, you can always come back and add more. You can have up to 10 on either side. Then you have to pick how you want to check. Do I want it checked instantly or do I want it checked when prompted? I am going to do instantly this time, but you can decide for yourself which ones you like. And then hit the next button in the bottom right-hand corner. And then you get to pick whichever background you want. I told you the high school kids do like the rock band. They like to see things fry, which I'm okay with because if they're getting it wrong on purpose and they know it, then it's good. I am going to do superhero this time just to show you a different background and hit finish. Once you've picked your theme and you hit finish, we want to preview it to make sure it's what you think it's like. So just click on the preview button and you'll be able to see what your game is. And for the one I picked, you drag it to the backs of the characters. If you get it right, something positive happens, or negative to the monster in my case, because the monster is bad. If you get it wrong, our heroes get thrown up and splattered against the glass wall. So you get some ideas of some things that you can do. Remember, these are all individual self-checking things for the students to be able to do. Once you're done previewing it and you say that's exactly what you want, or I know I need to go in and make edits, doesn't matter. Top right-hand corner, there's an X that will let you get out of preview mode, and it'll take you back into edit where you can change it some more if you need to, or add some more things, or preview it again. And for me, they showed up in the wrong order. I want the game to be after my handout, so I'm going to move it. But you can put it in whatever order you want. So you might want them to have the game first and then do the worksheet, because the worksheet's what I'm going to grade. So maybe they've practiced my skill and then the worksheet's what I'm grading. So maybe the game does go first. Just depends on how you've set up your lesson. All right. So we've added a game. We're going to add one more thing here. We're going to add that closing activity. If you'll all hit the plus sign in the bottom left-hand corner. Up will pop up add content. And this time we're going to look at questioning and reflection. So if you'll go into questioning and reflection, we're going to scroll down to all the purple ones because those are the handouts that can be done asynchronously. You notice there's some cause and effect, some 6-word summary, 3 things that you learned. You can pick any one of those you want. If you like it as is, you don't touch it. If you know your kids are the type, like with an exit ticket, they need to see the question, then you hit edit in here. And it'll ask you, do you want to edit it? You'll lose data. All that meant is if any kid had put their stuff in here ahead of time, you'd lose that, but otherwise it wouldn't. And then you can add whatever you need to be. And then if you added something, A, make sure you've locked it if you don't want the kids to move it around. And B, if you want to convert it to a handout again, you can. And C, you can also add audio, remember, to any game or any page. So even if I need to add more specific details here, I could. So I think it was Angela, you were the one that was asking about the different languages. I may put it in audio because they might not be able to read English, but they might be able to understand it if I speak it. Did that make sense?
They can put there's a feature in Google Meet where they can turn on the CC
Yes.
and choose it in any language they want. So a lot of kids do that.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to convert mine back to a handout. My file is good to go. So the last thing we got to do is rename it, guys. Right next to the finish editing button is whatever the name of the PDF you started with. So in my case, it was march.pd because that's the PDF's title. Yours would be whatever the PDF started with. But if you double click in there, you can highlight all that text and call it whatever you want. That I know I can find it again in my Google Drive if I need to. So in the top left-hand corner, we're going to click on Finish Editing. Because it was the first time I was in the document, it automatically takes me back to the SLSO dashboard. And inside of there, the very first thing under the green button will be that activity. So if I wanted to see mine again, I could. Or if you hover over it, you can edit it or you can start it. Or from here, there's also the 3 dots in the bottom right-hand corner where you can make a copy or get the share link. Or if I launch the lesson, remember the 3 lines will have the share link or the make copy. Because remember, this is about asynchronous learning. So this is more about giving them that link and letting them be able to work at their own pace. You could give them the link in Google Classroom or inside of your Google Meet, either way. Questions? Great. You have been a wonderful group. I am going to stop the recording now.